everybody. Welcome
Hello.
to this edition of Real Talk here on Shelbyville Now. I'm David Thomas, Mr. Bo Gill
Hello.
sitting across from me.
Hello.
And before we dive in today and talk about some of the things that are happening in the world, Bo, we need to hear from our sponsor, Norris Plumbing. Anytime you have a problem with plumbing, emergencies, or if you just need a new hot water heater, or if you just need some pipe fixed, or if you need to do some construction and remodeling, call Jay Norris. He'll take care
and hey, he's
of
24-hour service too.
Yeah, boy.
So when you need him the most, that's big. 24
when that hot water heater pops at 3 o'clock in the morning,
call Jay up.
Jay will take care of you. We're going to hear from him, and we'll be right back to dive in.
All right.
Norris Plumbing, your go-to source for licensed and insured plumbing services. Emergency services when you need it. Norris Plumbing. Call us at 931-703-5915.
All righty, welcome back in here to Real Talk. Bo, we've got some things going on, and the biggest thing that I see in the headlines right now, well, there's several things, but the number one thing I see that's good is the Gaza war is going to be ending in about 14 days, according to an agreement that Trump and Netanyahu have put together.
Yes.
Here are the points of it. There will be 4 Arab countries ruling the Gaza Strip because their basic form of government is just decimated. Hamas will be kicked out and sent into exile. And, of course, Hamas says they're not leaving. So that means we'll probably have to forcibly remove them. Somebody will.
Yes.
And all hostages will be released as part of the deal. This is supposed to take place in 14 days.
14 days.
Now,
and that's breaking news. I mean, this has just happened this afternoon.
Well, actually, they had a phone call Monday, talked about it, and it's kind of leaked out, I think, now, and people are starting to talk about it.
Well, so you're saying that they're proposing peace at the Gaza Strip, and that
Netanyahu's agreed to it.
And Netanyahu has agreed to it. Some of the other factions have not. They're probably going to say over my dead body.
Hamas is the ones that are left, which are like crawling around like cockroaches in there among the rubble. They're saying we're not leaving. Well,
I think that's a great declaration, and I really hope it works because there needs to be peace there. I just don't, from what I've seen in the history of that land there, that holy land all throughout there, it's been war and ruin. I mean, the place is already in ruins. So that is a great proposal, and I'm all for it. But I'll have to believe it when I see it, because I just think that it's their land, and there's a lot of people that are claiming that area still. It's hard to believe that one thing will create a long-term peace. But hey, this is a great way to start the solution to maybe get the Gaza Strip to be a great flowing place.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's important that they've selected 4 Arab countries to go in and rule over.
Oh, yes.
Okay, Israel is going to stand back and let them rebuild their state, according to Netanyahu. All right, so this brings up a thought. When they're cleaning all this out and getting the leaders of Hamas that are left out, they're probably going to lash out at Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Can Israel restrain themselves and quit killing people?
I don't look. The what we've seen lately, no, they have attacked. They're shooting missiles. Here's the problem with this dispute going on. Even with if the 4 Arab countries are coming and are at the table, there's still a border there, and there's still wild card people and players that were going to test those boundaries. And I have a feeling that Israel would strike first for the defense of their country. Now, if they're striking just to strike again, that right there, I mean, we can't have that. I mean, that's them going off of, their loose hinge, or whatever you want to call it. But I do think that the disputes are not over, and that the guns have not quit blasting, because Hamas has said that, look, they're not going to go. So how does forcibly removed? How does that look?
But right now, Hamas don't have a fight left in them. They
Yeah.
got a lot big mouth.
Yeah.
Israel's the one that's doing all the blowing up.
Yes.
All right. They've turned that place into nothing but a pile of concrete block, cinder blocks, dirt, dust, and just rubble. And then you've got tents and little huts and a few small villages.
Yeah, it's
that's
sad.
not. It's they've been devastated.
They have.
All right. What happened? It was justifiable to go after Hamas and try to kill them, but there's too many innocent people. They went in. It's kind of like throwing the baby out with the dishwater.
Yes.
You know,
I've heard that saying.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
or
No,
ripping your face off to get rid of a zit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
they did that. A lot of innocent people were killed, but Israel looks at, well, they were complicit. They allowed this to happen, and if they want freedom, well, somebody walking around with a machine gun in your face all day and you don't have one, it's hard to confront that.
And apathy is not anyway, does not mean that you're helping their cause. I mean, just because you want to stay away and not be involved.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that has happened in this region. And for peace to be there for a short time would be wonderful, but for a long time would be just absolutely amazing. And it's going to take, though, here's what it's going to take: the people that live there to want that peace and to root out the evil and the terrorism, and for Israel to act like a good neighbor.
Yeah.
Israel needs to be a good neighbor, and they need to, be good to their neighbors. There's no other way to put it.
It was terrible what happened. It was like their 9/11.
Yes.
I mean, it's worse.
Yes.
If you go by per capita, it was the biggest devastation to any country that's ever been. Even during World War II and World War I. I mean, you look at what happened to Israel. It was terrible that day that they were attacked.
Yes.
I think they've rooted out the majority of all that.
They have.
And they've got this step going forward, and Trump put it together.
Yes, he did.
Okay. All right. So at the same time, while this is going on, Trump throws a 17% tariff on all Israeli products coming into the United States. Okay. I don't know of any product that I use that comes from Israel, but there are a lot of shops through the Northeast, specifically New York, where Jewish folks in the United States import stuff in from the home country.
Yes,
they resell. Okay. That's going to hit that tariff. Okay?
Oh, it is. And I have,
plus the 10% baseline, which will put it at 27%.
Well, if you're buying any Desert Eagles, I don't know if they're still made over there, but the Magnum Research, the big Desert Eagle, that's probably going to go up.
That's going to go up because 30%. It's going to be also, there's some steel involved in
so
that
you better get those now. They're big boy weapons.
Israel removed all tariffs on U.S. products going into there, but Trump brought up this. I don't understand. That's not reciprocal. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know why I didn't leave it alone. I mean, I know that they're not a big trader with us. I know that we don't buy a whole lot, but still, I mean, it seems kind of he's tariff crazy right now.
Yeah.
I feel like he is. I mean, I love the man to death.
I told somebody this morning, you can love Trump and what he's doing.
I love it.
And still hate tariffs.
Yeah, I hate tariffs. I hate paying more.
Right.
So that's my whole sentiment.
And
here.
we have danger looming on the horizon.
Yeah,
There's one other headline we'll get to. But some financial news that came out today. Durable goods orders was up 16.4% in May.
Durable goods.
Durable goods will be cars, bulldozers, things that are built that last over a long time, ambulances, airplanes, trains. That would be durable goods.
Okay.
All right. People were ordering and taking delivery in May before the tariffs hit later in the year. The uncertainty jacked this up. It's the highest on record. Typically, a good increase will be 2 to 3%, 16.4% in 1 month. That just shows you the state that some of these companies are in. Before we got on, we just looked at a report where Nike, their revenues, their sales were down 12%, and their profit is down 85%. Okay, and there's people out there saying, "Good."
They can't take
Nike
it anymore.
is an American company that brings in imports because they can't get anybody to make the product here.
That's right.
Okay, at an affordable price.
That's right.
Okay, your Air Jordans are going to go up from 150 to 250.
Or more
if they stay in business. That's what's going to happen.
I mean, they've been really trying to eat these tariffs and not pass it on to the consumer. And they found out that they have to.
They're going to have to.
They're going to go under.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the plain and simple.
Yeah, the shareholders are going to dump.
Yeah.
And they're going to be worthless.
Yeah.
All right. GDP was down 0.5%. That's the weakest report since 2022. 1 month there, I think it was April 2022. 236 jobless claims. We're at 1.974 million for the trailing 12 months. All right.
Still
and then
unemployment.
so financial situation. There's some other good numbers that have come out. I think we're starting to see the natural interest rate drop a little bit. Our next report coming up in July and August will show June and July.
Yes.
And that's where you're going to start to see your price of goods and your consumer price index.
Yes.
And then you're going to see consumer confidence.
You've seen a little bit of it in this report, but you're really going to, I think it's really going to show in the next
one. Other area that's really hurting is used cars and new cars.
Yes.
We just
looked at that and that is amazing. There seems to be such a large inventory now. I mean, the auctions aren't being packed, and they're not selling everything at auctions. They're buying them good, but they can't sell them.
Yeah. Trump also, another piece of news that was out today, will now limit all the intelligence that it shares with Congress because of the leak that came out on this preliminary report of the bomb on Fordow or however you and the other two locations. And the news media was basically playing it down and saying, "Oh, they didn't do much of anything. They just barely hit it and all this."
Yeah, no,
it was bad.
They leaked. It was bad. They devastated these bunkers. They put bunker buster after bunker buster in these holes and decimated it.
Right.
The left wing news media, they want to paint any type of negative picture for Trump that they can. They want to make him look bad however they can. But the fact is that's what happened now. It is sad that Trump has to do this and not want to share this. But you can't trust them.
No.
You cannot trust them one bit. I mean, and that's what you have to do. When you can't trust somebody, what do? You don't share things with them.
Let me ask you this. If you shared with Congress or anybody in Washington and gave them some clearance that was top secret that affected it would be considered sensitive information that would be a national security issue.
Yes, a risk.
If somebody betrayed that, wouldn't that be considered treason?
That is probably close to the definition of treason, and that's a treasonous type of course that they're taking by releasing any type of information. I couldn't imagine being in that seat and wanting to share information that is not in the interest of your own country. That is treasonous activity.
Yeah, and you know what happens when you commit treason? There's a penalty.
There's supposed to be, but apparently treason's not as expensive. Law. We're a nation of laws, and it's kind of pick and choose. No, that ain't how it should be. I don't care if you're a senator, whatever.
Yeah. Don't
release classified information. Now it looks like it wasn't released, maybe to Iran because we told them we were going to bomb them.
We gave
the financials. The financials were manipulated.
This is all right. I'm going to connect. I want to make a triangle right here.
Okay.
You got the war between Ukraine and Russia, which NATO is supplying Ukraine everything they need to keep fighting.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Then you got the Israel-Iran war. Then you've got the Israel-Hamas war. There's 3 wars that Trump's been trying to maneuver through since he's been in office. It was the third one just kind of threw up, but it was building before he got in office.
It's been building for years.
All right, so he got that stopped. Now it looks like he's going to get Gaza stopped or slowed down, or there's an end in sight. But then Ukraine, yesterday, he has that summit with NATO, and he cuddles up with them, tells them they're going to have to pay more, and they all go, "Oh yeah, we'll pay more." But he made them a promise: we're going to be in it with you.
We're going to arm you.
Okay, we're going to arm Ukraine. We're going to help, and that aligns us against Russia. But in return, he said, "Y'all got to buy your stuff from the United States."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what does that fuel?
What does that fuel? That fuels the warmongers and the producers and the money and the pockets of those that aren't really wanting the best interest of not only the United States, but the world. They want bloodshed and they want war to come. Now, look, we could also look at, the other day when we talked, President Trump and Lindsey Graham were kind of at it. And I think this might be
that was a scratch.
It's a little scratch. Lindsey, settle down. Here you go.
I see Trump.
But he's having a difficult situation. He's having to deal with a lot of different personalities and scratch a lot of different backs.
So how does he end that war when he's getting Europe to step up and fund NATO more, and then makes a promise on national television to a reporter that's from Ukraine that we'll get you some javelins and some Patriot missile batteries to help. Yeah. Okay, you do that, I know he felt bad for this lady.
Mhm.
She's from there.
Yeah.
But the best thing that could happen is that Zelensky says, I'm done.
Yes.
He taps out. They get a deal with Russia, and there's no more bloodshed. But we're going to build more bullets and sell them to
Yes.
NATO.
Yes. And that's here. We were closer to an agreement. We thought we were. But now that I see kind of what Trump's doing, he's wanting to kind of say, here is this just in case. But I think in the meantime, he's going as hard as he can to end this.
He's trying to thread a needle here.
Yeah, he is. And he's threading the needle all over the world. I mean, luckily, 2 of the 3 wars was Israel's involved, or I don't know what. So he has one contact on that one. But no, and then he's got to deal with the idiots in Congress and people leaking information, people that he's supposed to trust and have our back.
Yep.
Brothers, are not acting like brothers.
Oh, I know it. Now, another report that came out on CNBC is the deadlines for July on the tariffs,
July 9th?
which is July the 9th, are not critical.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
He could extend the tariff pause, and that's probably what's going to happen.
Yes.
And then there's a squabble going on with the European Union. European Union basically came out and said we're not going to have any tariffs, but we hadn't backed down and hadn't negotiated. I think the war has had him distracted from the tariffs, and he's going to have to make the pause.
He has
but
to.
in the meantime, China's is hanging in midair. They're not doing what they're supposed to do, but we're getting hammered.
Yeah, it's critical. It is critical. I don't think there's anything not critical about it. The tariffs are critical. They're going to be critical ultimately to the American citizen's pocket. And I know he didn't expect all this going on. We knew that the war and all this was, but right now he's trying to do a whole lot at one time, and the tariffs are going to have to pause for a little bit. And I guess people are just going to there's going to be uncertainty looming until who knows when they might do it again. I just wish they could come to a solution, get it done with, get it over, just do away with it, but I'm not the president. So, I know he's working his deal. That's what he likes to do. He makes the deals. He's a deal maker. Maybe he's working it the way I don't see.
Speaking of other deals, today he's been schmoozing Congress or the Senate to try to get this big, beautiful bill tailored down to where everybody will vote for it. So he's trying to influence them.
He is.
And that's going to be bad.
Yeah.
There's some good things in it, but it's going to add so much to the deficit.
That's the big problem with it is there is a lot of good things in it, David, but there is on a conservative level, we've discussed this, if on the fundamental conservative level, it is adding more to our deficit.
Let's just say that you went to a car lot. We talked about cars earlier. And your favorite truck was sitting on the lot. You went up and you were expecting to pay $60,000 for that truck. And then they said, Bo, we'll give you this truck for $30,000. This is a good deal for you. And you say, yeah, man, let's do that. And then you get in it and it's been hit by a skunk.
Okay.
It's been fumigated by a skunk.
Okay.
That's kind of what this bill is.
Yeah, I think it is. It looks really good on the outside. It's shining good.
Yes,
but
get inside of it stinks.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe when you get a mile down the road, something stinks about it. Like I said, there's a lot of good. They're wanting to get this through by July the 4th. I know that's their goal. I don't think that's going to happen with everything else happening and just the discussion that needs to take place. I mean, we really need to know what all is in this.
Did you know there's $7 billion in perks for Congress inside of this bill? They're voting themselves a bunch of financial
The last person that needs a perk is the Congress, a servant of the American people.
I know. All right, Bo, there's some local things happening tonight. Our county commission meets at 7:00 to vote on our annual budget, which there's no property tax increase, but there's a lot of other issues in it that will probably be discussed. If you can't make it to the courthouse, tune in on YouTube.
Well, our history of the budget night, whenever they come to approve that, there's
always something
There's
coming.
been a surprise the last couple years, so stay tuned to that and watch close, and it's your money right there. I mean, you've got to say about it. So be involved, watch, pay attention to what's going on. On one hand, I've got a plan. I will be serving my community tonight. We've got a planning commission meeting at 6 p.m. And so we'll be.
Oh, what are you going to do to us?
Oh yeah, I don't know. We'll just see. We're the people. You know, when they say what are they going to bring this? We're going to decide if we want another coffee shop. No, that's not how it
I
works.
know.
That's not how it
It
works.
blows my mind.
Yeah.
I saw some posts, and I keep seeing these posts. Government talks about planning and stuff, and people say, "Well, we need a Aldi, and we need a Publix, and we need another coffee shop, or we need this. We need." Bo,
No, that
the city planning commission
we're going to come up with that
does
together.
not
No, we do not
plan new businesses.
We accept a business from a private individual that wants to do it. So when you have that idea, that you are they. Whoever says that, I mean, you do it. Yeah.
Everybody needs to wake up.
No, they need to wake up.
Understand that people are going to come here if they think they can make money here.
That's right. That's it. That's exactly right. But we don't have a lot on our agenda tonight, so that we can
maybe you can rush up to the courthouse.
We're going to walk up to the courthouse in an orderly fashion, maybe, and see the budget.
Raid the place.
Yeah. So it's good night to serve the fine folks of Shelbyville and Bedford County, as there will be servants all out tonight. Doing their job.
Next time we meet, Bo.
Yes, sir.
When probably Monday.
Yeah.
We're going to take a look at all the new laws that are going in place on July 1st in the state of Tennessee.
Yes, that's a good idea.
July 1st is the effective date of all the legislation that's been passed earlier this year.
That's right.
And there's some crazy stuff.
There
always is.
I've seen a couple headlines, and they usually let them out a few days before, so it'd be great to be prepared and to prepare everybody else of those laws.
We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to, of course, stay up to date on all the world news.
Oh, yeah, we'll be on it.
I mean, there's a lot of things going on locally, but this show is more about a little local and a lot of what's happening in the world, because what's happening in the world trickles down to us. And the fact that there were nuclear warheads being talked about last week in this 12-day war, it's very important to keep your eyes on the ball.
It is, and that's what Real Talk's about. We're just here to talk and to inform. So thank y'all for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll be back again probably Monday.
Yes.
See you then. And also thanks for Norris Plumbing.
Norris Plumbing,
give them
24
a call
hours.
when you need your plumbing checked out, you have a problem, or you have some plumbing work done, call Jay at Norris.